Hey everybody, welcome back to the One Page One Shot Club. We are playing Nice Marines, and we'll get into that in a bit. But first, we're going to go around and introduce ourselves. I am Ryan Doyle, your game master, your commandant, your commander. You can find me at Third Degree Table on YouTube, where I talk about Dungeons and Dragons and other games like this one. And yeah, who's with us today? Let's go around.
Yeah, go in order.
Yeah,
Next.
yeah, all right.
Guys.
I am next here. I am Jim Heskett, and from the Wizards and Wordslingers channel at Wizardsling down there, down there,
Wait,
down there. Right, I'm pointing right at it. That's me.
Got
For
it.
me,
Nailed
it's
it.
right there.
Got it in one.
Cool. I'm Angela Fernot, artist and illustrator. You can find me on Instagram at afernot or go to talesofkfear.com and back our Kickstarter because Volume 5 is coming out.
Woohoo! Volume 5.
Yeah.
What you got, Doc?
Oh, or me, sure. Yeah. Hi, I'm the new guest here. My name's Mike, and I'm kind of all sprinkled throughout the internet. But my main thing, which I haven't done stuff in a while, but you can still check it out, is MBR is how you say it on YouTube, or as everyone else says it, MBear, which is totally fine. Say it either way. I'm a good friend of Brad over there. I don't know if it's the same layout for everyone here, but he invited me on, and I'm happy to be here. And my character today is Dr. Ogbert Sprunt, is the name I landed on.
Nice. I look forward to saying that many times. Brad.
Yeah, I'm Brad Wolf with Dire Dan, and I also talk about Dungeons and Dragons and RPGs on the YouTubes.
Awesome. And as I said, today we are going to play Nice Marines. It's a one-page role-playing game by the illustrious Grant Howitt of Spire and Heart fame. But before he made those, he made a ton of awesome, ridiculous one-pagers. And we're going to sink our teeth into Nice Marines. So, to introduce this game, you are Space Marines. Immortal giants genetically engineered to be the perfect instruments of war. You and your squad mates are oath-sworn protectors of the Astral Commonwealth and one another. The iconoclasts of the galaxy shiver in terror at the very mention of your names. However, support forces have not arrived following the recent liberation of Vanis IV, leaving you in charge of a diplomatic envoy dedicated to rebuilding after the conflict. You have no idea how to do this. You've got one solar week until your superiors arrive to inspect the city. So best get to it, Marines. You load up into your dropship and fly off into space, bound for the planet and the capital city, Venice. Who all is getting in our dropship?
My name Pavel Knifefingers. I am a Marine. I'm here with my cybernetic dog companion Robodog. I am a very happy Marines gave me second chance after everything that happened, we don't need to talk about it. The court transcripts were very, very detailed, but I need to do very good job on this mission because my older brother Boris Knifefingers is part of the inspection team, so I need to make sure everything is tippy-top when he arrives. Happy to be here.
And Pavel, please tell us the aspect that you are most confident in, which I am going to point out here and now is the not necessarily what you're best at, but what you are most confident in doing, and the part of civilian society you least understand.
I am most confident in impressing civilians. I make balloon animals. I make sculptures. I make all kinds of things with my spiky appendages. And I always have to trust the grapple cannon, and I have trouble understanding human fashion. Not quite get the clothes. My nose rip. I don't know why.
All right. And next up, Angela. What are we bringing to the table?
Hello, everyone. I'm Hilda Lancaster. How are you today? I would like to say I'm very grateful to be a part of this team. I lost my other team, the Fighty Titans. Rest in peace, brothers. It was hard to lose you, but don't worry, I'm no longer alone. I've got Agent Orange. This is my very, very powerful robotic flamethrowing arm. He speaks to me. We have very good conversations. It's not weird. Also, I'm a very dedicated pyrotechnician, happy to help you blow stuff up. Hoorah!
Hoorah.
Hoorah. And what are you most confident in and least comprehending of?
Well, I am incredibly competent in protecting civilians as long
Mm.
as my equipment does not malfunction like it did when it killed my team. Other than that, I definitely try and fail to appreciate humor. It does not make sense to me at all. But
Mm.
explosions, those are beautiful.
All right, dark. Mike.
This voice was voted right before we started recording, by the way. Hello, my name is Dr. Ogbert Sprunt, and I like to think he's also talking about his own physicality. I'm a huge monstrosity, hulking beast with a chiseled jaw. I was nicknamed Pathfinder in my squad because I would just lift heavy things out of the way for everyone to just make, flanking maneuvers around the enemies and stuff like that. One time back at home, I was on leave, and the person that engineered me invited me out to a undisclosed, unnamed, rodent-based theme park, and I rode Splash Mountain, creating an accident. And there was a radiation thing that happened, and we kind of combined. He was the doctor, the brains, I was the brawn, and now we're one. And I totally got all of his skills, and I know exactly what I'm doing in all medical fields. I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, so he's just a little weird mound of teeth and flesh on the side that talks every once in a while, but don't mind him. I'm here to help out any way that I can. And my things that I'm best at is, like I said, I love lifting heavy things. Any heavy thing you need lifting, I can do it, and I can impress civilians around me by doing it. And honestly, I'm just good at everything. I'll just do whatever you want me to do.
Awesome.
That's his own confidence speaking. That's not actual. Sure. Yeah.
Pure confidence, baby.
And I don't understand sadness. Like, people around me are always happy, so I don't. Anyone says that they're sad, I can make them happy. There's no reason to be sad. It doesn't matter.
Disturbing. All right, Brad.
Oh, and sorry, I forgot this part too. I have a psi axe on my side as well. That's just a huge two-handed axe, but it's kind of more like halberdy shaped and long to look like a scalpel, and that's my doctor tool.
Cybernetic barber surgeons. Brad.
Yeah, I'm Vladimir, and I also come from the same hometown as Pavel. We knew each other long time ago, long before we were genetically engineered to be these hulking Marines. I am an assault specialist with my atomic jetpack. I was originally assigned to the Death Angels, where I specialized in boarding enemy spacecraft and eliminating the Xeno threat. Then I was transferred. I know that's very unusual for us Marines to get transferred. I was transferred to the Golden Saints, where I specialize in rescue and recovery of important acquisitions. I'm not allowed to speak anything more about those operations. I may too know what it's like to lose the large majority of your squad, but again, not something that I'm allowed to discuss. I've recently been transferred to this unit, which makes me think this is an even more special unit, because I seem to only get regularly upgraded from unit to unit. I know that's unusual, but this Marine, I apparently am outstanding because I keep getting transferred.
Spicy secrets.
Classified. It's classified. What are you the most confident in, and what are you the least understanding of civilian life?
I am divinely ordained at protecting civilians. Yes, I am extremely confident in my ability to protect civilians. I do not understand animals. This notion of humans to take small creatures and allow them to live in their home seems like a disturbing waste of resources.
You mean food, right? That's what you're.
Well, but they don't eat them. That's what I don't understand.
You can eat anything.
Well, I can.
I can barbecue it.
Oh, this is
I'm
gonna
sure
be
you
good. Here, kitty.
So as you approach the surface of Venice, you can see some of your handiwork and some of the enemies, but a lot of this place has been ruined. Most of the fires are out. There's still some thick black smoke rising in some places, but the capital city has been partially spared. And the statue of Galaxia, this harvest mother deity of the astral church, this golden statue in the center of the market square, has been miraculously untouched through this conflict and your vigorous liberating of this planet, until, of course, your dropship lands on top of it and the doors open and you are here to restore order to this chaos in a way that will impress your brother and your superiors, so that you keep getting promoted and maybe get back to the cool explodey stuff that you love so much. And this gentleman in a sort of like a tinfoil, shiny, like mylar cowboy hat is approaching you, and he says, "You can't park that here. Can't park that here."
I look over at
already
Vlad.
parked.
Oh, sorry. We all talked at the same time. Y'all go ahead.
Did that landing feel bumpy to anyone else, or was that just me?
Was Vlad the pilot, or who it was, or do we just? I'll just look at Vlad and be like, "That was a perfect landing, in my opinion."
We're here, and it's just parked. Yes.
All right, in the center, exactly where it's a perfect midpoint to every spot of the city. Perfect landing.
I like this vantage point.
Yeah, you have a lot of sight lines. You see a big palatial estate on one side of this market square. Some stalls that are still roughly in one piece, or are at least like operational. And on the other side is a very ornate looking cathedral like structure. And then there's this old man with a huge mustachio and a shiny hat, and he's currently scribbling on a pad, issuing you a citation.
I look at him and I go, "Greetings, citizen. There will be no need for that. We are here to restore order."
Also, I am on probation, so if there's any way we could not make this official, it's under the table. We are here to help. Maybe this was not made clear.
Are you offering to bribe an officer of the law?
Vladimir, can you step in, please? Sir. We refer you to our communications officer, Vladimir.
I look at this person after they say bribe, and they say, "Oh, I'm sorry, we're not allowed to marry. That's not in our regulations." Just mishearing what he says.
I just flick my thumb up and the light comes out like I'm about to light a fire. It's like a little lighter built into my thumb. I'm just like, I start going closer toward the paper with my thumb.
Also, where are your muscles? Are you a little malnourished? Do you want me to check you up? Where I'm sorry, I'm the doctor of the group. And from my side, you just hear this little muffled, like, "Not doctor." Sorry. He's right. Not just a doctor, MD specifically, a physician, if you will. So if you need any checkup, tune in or otherwise. And I'm just kind of like looking over at his arm and just like sizing it with my hand around his bicep area. It's like, I can, get you the right nutritional needs you might need to start upkeeping on your body there.
I don't think that will be necessary. And I feel like we're flirting with impressing civilians.
Yeah.
Here.
That's my D12. So
Ooh. So the way this game works mechanically,
Okay.
we have approaches, not skills, which are
Okay.
assigned dice, and you roll that dice, and based on the number, like most other games, that's going to determine the degree of success and or failure. Unlike
Okay.
most games, there's a very narrow window, which is success without consequences.
Mhm.
Rolling low can be pretty bad. Rolling high can also be pretty bad.
Gotcha.
You rolled a 9 which is a success, but with minor collateral damage.
Oh, I didn't roll anything. Did someone roll?
That's
Oh,
yeah, that's
Oh.
rolled 4.
Should I
that's
roll?
weird.
So do I roll a D20 then?
No, you roll. What do you have for impressing civilians?
That's
I
my
think a
D12.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. That's weird. That 9 just like popped up on my.
So I rolled a D12, just double checking.
Yeah, roll the
Cool.
D12, please.
Sweet. 7.
Woo! So also success, but with minor collateral.
So close.
So it's a challenging game as if you're trying to win. That's not.
Oh,
the
I'm not trying to
objective
win.
So you have your arm around checking the muscle mass / blood pressure of this gentleman, and he is between you reaching for him and the bizarre voice coming out of your hip. He pulls back suddenly. And you have just started to clench enough that you rip the sleeve of his like leather jacket
Okay.
up to and including like to the zipper, so you get like the badge as well comes off with it.
Nice.
And he's like, I think maybe we can forget about the ticket here, and you Marines are here to restore order, and I appreciate that. I am a citizen of the Empire, and yeah, perhaps you could help us with some issues here.
Yeah, you're so welcome. Also, you're more stylish and you'll cool off better. So, job well done. Pavel, you can take lead on the rest of this. I got some notes to take. And he just kind of like looks over, and he pulls out a piece of paper, and he just stands there, just staring blankly into the distance.
Ryan, are there other civilians around?
Yes, you are in the midst of a market square, and you made quite the entrance.
Gotcha.
So there are a few across the way. There are a few people milling around in front of the like the manor house, the big palatial estate, and there are a few also wearing different weird hats. A group of like what you would recognize as clergy of some order or another over by the cathedral, and then there's just plenty of standard civilians going about, slowly starting to go back about their business, buying what meager supplies are available right now.
Well, I don't understand fashion, so I certainly don't recognize the hats as clergy, but they just look like strange buckets to me. But as soon as I see people stop paying attention, I'm going to say, citizens, who likes balloon animals? And I will reach into, I have an enormous pouch with like 500 balloons because I tend to shred 40 or 50 of them
Sure.
to get any out, and start taking out balloon animals and trying to blow up. And it's like, pop, because knife fingers.
Yeah.
So I'm going to attempt to make balloon and to get everyone's attention to make balloon animals, so we can start to increase morale among these people because they clearly need it.
I look over at you and I'm like, do you need help?
No, I do this all the time. Is very. I mean, you could help pass out the balloons once I finish. It takes me a while to complete one. Is part of the process.
A-okay. I'm just going to look around for some rubble and see if I can start making a pile of it and try to reassemble part of this statue for them.
Sure. Sure. Doable, because it's assembly, including like maybe welding. There's a lot of metallic elements here.
Ooh, okay.
So I believe we're talking about impressing civilians on one hand and building and repairing things on the other. So let's resolve it backwards here. What is Hilda rocking in the building and repairing things category?
That would be a D8.
Okay. So not your most confident.
Okay.
That is 4. So there is more of a statue here than there was a few minutes ago, but you were more focused on just like mass more than organization. So you have definitely welded some things together, but a statue of the harvest goddess, it is not. And you can see some of the civilians are saddened and offended by this further sacrilege to their deity.
Par for the course.
But you feel pretty good about it. I mean, things are melting into place where you want them to go.
As I'm working, I'm looking, and I'll look at my arm every once in a while and be like, no, that's not how I think it goes. Okay, fine. I hear you. I get it. Artistic representation, fine. And I'm straight just talking to my own arm, just having a conversation. And when I'm done, I turn around. You're welcome, citizens.
I look over at that mid mental note taking. I look over at that and just like, you have a relative with you as well?
Well, he's kind of like family. He is definitely a permanent companion.
Yeah, it's hard to keep them around sometimes. As I just kind of like hit my side hip a little bit, and you see this little muffled kind of cough. I get it. It's challenging.
Yeah.
I
A lot of opinions.
I considered naming my backpack at one point. That's the closest I have for that.
Does
That's
your backpack talk
ridiculous.
to you? Yeah. Well, wait, why would you do that?
It doesn't talk, so that's why I didn't do it.
Makes sense.
But your arm actually talks to you.
Yeah, you don't hear him. This is Agent Orange. This is here you go.
Interesting.
Says hi. Yeah.
Vladimir is particularly zealous. That's my D12 when it comes to building and repairing. So I'm gonna try to step in and help with this statue if I can.
Sure.
And if there's any rubble underneath the ship itself that is still kind of stuck under there, I can like lift it for you to gather more of the actual statue itself.
Okay.
We're already
Lift
helping.
lift the ship a little bit is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Most of it is in fact under the ship.
Okay.
So give me a moving heavy objects roll,
Sweet.
please and thank you.
That's my 20. Big money.
You
Oh no.
Oh God.
I hope you like it here.
succeed with dire collateral. So one hand in the effort to win hearts and minds that you are all undertaking on your first day here in Venice, you lift the ship one hand like it's nothing. And the last time you did this, it was filled with space marines who are, again, not just people, but cybernetic creations of like more machine than person who have been warring for centuries. So it's like when you pick up the milk, but it turns out it's empty, and you throw it back over your shoulder, taking out one of the few remaining market stalls. And perhaps several civilians. It was a pretty good throw, so you're not exactly sure how many people got taken out, but there are screams and cries.
I just say,
certainly.
Oopsie poopsie, low gravity. You take care of this, Vlad and Hilda. I'm gonna go see if I can do anything over there. And while they're fixing the statue, I'm like, time to help the people. They sound like they're in pain, so it's my job and my duty.
Vladimir, give me a building and repairing things.
How's Papa going with those balloons?
That's good. I think that might be. I was planning for that to be our big finale. Is that?
Oh,
what do we
okay.
got? A 2. Mostly failure, some success. So again, it's taller when you are done with it. But a recognizable statue of this deity, it's not. It's getting a little horror show over there. Pavel.
In our defense, we did not know what it looked like before, so.
This is a very good point. You didn't really get a good look at it before you crushed it entirely with your dropship. In fact, I don't even know if the dropship would have windows. It's probably like cameras and TV screens, I'd imagine. Pavel, you are attempting to make balloon animals to win some hearts and minds. How confident are you at your ability to impress civilians?
Impressing civilians is my D20, so I'm about to rock this shit. I think as they're flinging the ship around, I'm taking my balloons out and thinking, we are already working together as a team so good. Here I am out as face of the group, winning hearts and minds while they are doing the real work behind me. And I'm saying, who wants dog? I can do poodle. I can do dachshund. I can do corgi. And that is a 10.
10. Success with minor collateral. So you say, who wants dog? And a couple people come up with, I don't know if you can recognize the look in their eyes or any human emotion, but there is a sort of shell-shocked looking person with like a little bit of hope shining through their PTSD, and they reach out to your robo dog as you attempt to create your balloon animal dog. How does your robo dog react to scritches and pets?
Well, he's very temperamental. He will bite immediately.
And he attempts to do so, and they pull their hand back just in time. You have successfully made a balloon animal after many attempts to get a balloon out and inflated without bursting it. That's what you've been doing this entire time with your knife fingers. And you've got a crowd around you now. Whether or not you've kind of like impressed them and won them over, anybody's guess.
Suppose we'll see. Who wants balloon? Come up, please. I can do so many different types. I can name them again if you like, but I already named them. Also, do not approach Robodog. He is very, very mean. He's only nice to me. Only nice to me. I cannot stress this enough. If you get bit, we have doctor in crew. I don't know if his license is current, but he says he's doctor. So, if anything goes wrong, is going to be okay.
Oh, right. Well, that was a successful foray into the beginning of the market square.
Just instantly. I love it.
You have made an impression, Doc, as you are going to the cabbage stand that you have decimated with the dropship. For the second time in minutes, the dropship has created havoc in this market square. This contingent on half of them have these like weird, like cybernetic legs. They don't necessarily have limbs so much as like telescopic legs, and they approach almost in like a synchronized, very linear motion towards you. And the one in front who is clearly the leader because he has the tallest hat. And while we might not understand too much about fashion per se, there is definitely like an insignia on all of their headgear. There's like an X, and his is underlined, so you're not sure what that means exactly, but you would know. Okay, this is something. This is the head guy in charge here, and he goes, "Welcome to Venice."
Hi. I heard some screams over here, so I was just trying to help anybody in need of physical, that has a physical ailment. I can help patch them up or whatever. I know this is kind of a rough time for you all, and my team here are we're all trying to just help as much as we can. And yeah, I heard some screams, so came running.
Appreciated. They are expendable.
Okay. What are is there anything else that we can help them with? You obviously look like you're the leader of the troop. Size matters, and I see that your hat's the biggest, so you can talk to our leader as well, Pavel, if there's anything else you need to be done with balloon animals, I guess, or if anything needs to be rebuilt. We have a person that's rebuilding your statue up front. That I don't know how that happened, or apologize, but yeah, if there's anything that needs to be done as far as medically, I'm your person.
They kind of like look at each other. They don't say anything, but definitely like meaning passes between them. And then the guy behind your shoulder goes, and they say, "Okay, take me to your leader."
All right. And I'll just like, yeah, I'll just walk back and like, yeah, everyone's fine over there. Nothing happened. Pavel, this is Big Hat. Big Hat, this is Pavel.
So I will first clean all the bits of balloons that I got stuck to my knife fingers and stick my knife hand right out to shake.
Yeah, that's dice. I don't know what it is, but it's dice. This is being nice. You're trying to be nice to civilians. What could possibly go wrong?
All right,
Knife fingers.
I'm a D10 there. How do I just roll? Okay, roll 1 D10, which is a 4.
Ooh, mostly failure, some success. So he goes, Bishop Circuitous, and goes to shake your hand, and portions of his hand are actually cybernetic, are metallic. So those parts are mostly fine. His thumb and forefinger, however, land on the ground in a bit of blood and what looks like engine oil, perhaps. Some sort of greasy substance emanates from him.
Crap, Vladimir, it happened again. Please come help.
So I just ignite my jetpack and fly over. Does this require medical evacuation?
I don't know. No, this man has fewer digits than he had before I shake. I don't know what happened. Maybe we need the whole team to come and assess.
Well, first you have to ask the patient, is that a normal thing? So, Bishop Sequitus, is that normal for you? Does this happen regularly?
No, it's fine. Don't concern yourself. The closer
I can help you. I can make it all match again.
I will be upgraded. It is
perfect.
not necessary. And he's clearly like, the portions of him that are not metallic are a little concerned about you making more physical contact with him.
Well, again, if there's anything that you need, I'm your guy. And I just, hold up my scalpel, just whoosh.
We need assistance securing the space cattle.
The space cattle. We would be happy to help. Also, it's very important when inspection team come in a week, you tell them, especially Boris, we did a good job, that the fingers were loose or something. I don't know. You can work that out. But please remember this. Boris, he need to know we did good job. We are right on the mission protocols. Everything green.
Boris
Yes.
did a good job.
No, we did good job.
Everything green.
We will work on that. What is this about cattle?
The space beetles, they are sacred and must be protected.
Okay.
So sacred as in you eat these creatures?
No, and they all go no at the same time.
See, this is what I do not understand. No, this is why civilians have this fascination with animal. I do not get.
So I just kind of walk up and I go, tell us what we need to do and where we need to go. Let's get moving.
To the ranch. And they all kind of like point synchronistically like out like parallel to where the big manor house is. They gesture that way, and sure enough, there are some more outbuildings that way, large expanses of craters and smoking rubble, and what appears to be a giant gate to a fenced off area.
With seeing Vlad's confusion as we're walking over there, I'll like in the back just look at Vlad and be like, well, if something happens, maybe we can make people happier with a feast of some kind, make them see eye to eye with you about what is the proper use of these things.
That would make sense, no? Like these are animals, a resource. You consume the resources,
Especially in these dire times, use what you can.
Yes, that makes sense to me. I don't understand this veneration. Is that the word they use? The sacred animal?
That's a big word. Are you a doctor too?
I know. I played one in a ship-wide performance. We had a play.
I don't understand
Bacon.
role playing.
Home village. Vladimir always win talent show every year. Vladimir, he do many sing, dance, play guitar. He do many things back in home village. Very talented.
Maybe we can put on a performance for them if they need a little bit of uplift to their spirits.
Oh,
Exactly.
yeah,
This
yeah.
is what people need to rally around talent show.
Morale is a thing I hear about sometimes.
We can improve these civilians' morale for certain. For certain.
So Bishop Circuitous impugns upon you the importance of protecting these space cattle because they use their he uses the word bug butter to in their sacred rites of the superlinked techno bishop hive.
Bug butter.
They must not be eaten.
But this bug butter also not to be eaten.
It may be consumed. Also good for gears,
Sounds great.
Are
lubrication.
they flammable? Perhaps.
They
I
kind of look at
do
each
not
other.
think they want to set their bugs on fire. I don't think that's what they want.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask for a gathering information roll.
Oh, God. Okay. So D6. Okay.
Mostly failure, some success. So you've asked for data from them. So you are informed that they used to historically make like lantern oil out of this bug butter, and they stopped doing that because it smells terrible. But also, yes, in fact, one of them tells you these milk beetles presumably are flammable if the temperature rises high enough.
Well, guess I won't be playing with Agent Orange tonight. That's fine.
And I am happy that we have injected that into the canon. What do you do?
I'm gonna pull out my chainsaw blade sword and turn on the chainsaw to attempt to chase them around and see if the noise does anything to herd them or move them.
So you are in the market square surrounded by civilians right now. If you want to
We're
retcon a
hurting
little,
civilians.
walk over to the corral.
I'm sorry. I thought we were walking over. Yeah.
The old
Um,
walking.
Can we take the ship? The ship is operational, yes or no?
The
How
ship is
far
fine.
is
It's upside down, but it's seen a lot worse than that.
How far away
yes.
is the corral, though?
About 2,000, 3,000 feet. It's a pretty small capital. What's left of it?
No, we don't. Pavel, we don't.
What?
Just walk. Exercise is good for you.
Okay, Hilda, and you are always trying to get me to do yoga. Finally, I will just get my steps in today if it will make you happy.
I appreciate that. You gotta pay attention to fitness. That's how we
I-
stay strong.
No,
Supreme.
you were right. You were right.
And yeah,
Also-
as your doctor, I have to suggest that you do your 1,000,000 steps a day.
A million. It was
Yeah.
man. Last time you said was 100,000.
Yeah, but you beat that no problem. Just add a couple zeros here and there,
Oof.
plus or minus. It'll be fine.
Man, always move a goalpost with these ones.
And there is, in fact, on your wrist of your suit, a little odometer that starts ticking as you walk over.
Is it like
Counting your
5?
steps.
It's going to be a long day.
every now and then I hit it and it falls back a few steps too.
Oh, come on. That's not fair.
Fitness first. That's what the
Fine.
Titans used to say.
Yes, Fighty Titans. I hear all the time about how great they were.
Pretty magnificent. Yeah. Nobody could throw like they could. Go ahead.
I'll have to touch on that one later. I need to compete now.
All right, so yeah, I'll walk toward the corral, and as I get there, maybe not entirely through the crowd, but as I feel that I'm close enough, I will pull out my chainsaw sword and rev
And
it
if
up.
you want help, I can just like chop some of the ground into like also a secondary fence to like kind of push them even further if it'll help you out. I don't know.
Yeah, so there is a bunch of these gigantic beetle-y things. They have 8 legs, they have iridescent shells, and a couple of them are kind of being wrangled by several more people wearing those shiny mylar cowboy hats. And a lot of the corral is in fact gone as far as the fencing goes. So this is combat adjacent. So I'm going to say insta success. You definitely, by swinging a chainsaw sword around, scare the bejesus out of this herd of animals and start to driving them in a direction.
Do the beetles also have head buckets?
They do not. About half of them have rather prominent antenna.
I do not understand why some creatures get head buckets and some do not. This makes no sense to me.
I believe it's a way to sort them into categories.
Ah, you're so wise, Vladimir. Always so wise.
Or maybe the buckets. Maybe it's like indecent exposure and they're hiding their antenna under their head buckets. The ones that
So
we
is-
saw.
Is shame. Head
Maybe.
buckets are for shame.
Probably. That makes sense.
Ah, this is good. This is, yes. I feel like we are making breakthrough in understanding people of Venice. We
Well,
will
hear
win
me
their
out.
hearts. Oh, yes, please, Hilda, go ahead.
What if they're actually hiding weapons under their hats and the weapons get bigger, or maybe there's more ammo under the big hats?
You
I need a
suspect some
hat.
kind of resistance.
I'm just, we're soldiers. What do we typically see? People inclined to violence. It's a possibility. I'm just
It's-
putting it out
it's-
there.
It's their hidden weapon. Yeah, they're undercover. All right, I'll keep that in mind.
I'm arming my grapple cannon, just thinking about the resistance, looking at everyone with a head bucket very suspiciously.
Maybe just to make sure that it's safe for this community, we need to find our own head buckets just to see how they work.
So we blend in?
Also, yes.
I think maybe
Obviously.
we need to tell them they must remove their head buckets or they cannot be trusted.
For identification reasons? Question mark. Let's just say that. Just make them feel like it's for a reason. But then we take their weapons, right? We take their head buckets.
Yes, we get pen and paper, make note, head bucket, no head bucket, just checking like with boxes.
All right.
But obviously, if there's no weapons, we should return their head buckets, should we not? Well, okay then. I'll light them on fire.
So there are 2 civilians with shiny head buckets wrangling up some of the beetles that you have not yourselves. And there is a third walking towards you, just putting on a replacement jacket. As the mustachioed gentleman who was ready to give you a ticket, whose shirt sleeve may very well still be in your hand, is coming to check in on the progress, apparently, of the other 2 head bucketed civilians.
Well, I'm just gonna walk forward and say, all right, it's time for an inspection. I need this head bucket. Thank you very much. I'm just gonna go to pluck it off.
I lean over to Pavel. She's doing it. She's doing it. It's time.
I mean, I think this is also gathering information.
Oh my god, guys, this is not my role. Okay.
And
fine.
seeing that Hilda's going for this Operation Head Bucket swipe, as like to help with like a distraction and feel like there's an exchange going on. The dude's sleeve, I kind of rip in half, and I'm like, "Here, I made you sweat cloths for your hard work." I'm like also handing them just parts of their own shirt.
Okay, so mostly failure, some success. So you managed to grab the sheriff's hat off of his head.
Yes.
The pilot light on Agent Orange, however, catches it aflame. And
No.
he
Well-
is not super excited about it. God, give me being nice to civilians there, Doc, as you try to offer him
Oh.
a sweatband in his hour of need.
That is a D8.
This one has
for me.
some sort of flame weapon in his head bucket.
2.
Ooh, it's terrible. You throw the shirt sleeve that you ripped off of him, including the badge, which hits him in the face, but that kind of like shocks him out of his initial like authoritative disdain for what is happening here, and he's kind of just like taken aback, and you see the anger slowly dissipate as he realizes he is completely outclassed here against 4 space marines. And he says, all right, what can I do for you? How can I help you help us?
I
What
hold
do you
up
need?
the burning hat and go, there was nothing in it, team. I think we're safe.
For now.
That's right. Good
We-
thinking.
We must
Um,
remain vigilant.
Just so that we can make the people around here feel a little bit more comfortable, can we also have very authentic head buckets? And I look over at Pavel as well, so that we may too feel like a part of your community, so that we can better help and understand you all.
Y'all asking to be deputized?
I mean, we're a
But
little bit higher than deputies at them. I mean, let's be real here.
I kind of like drop an elbow and I'm like, no. Yes, we would like to assimilate into your culture and deputize as part of our efforts to show that we are here to support your people.
Well, that's one thing we do got is hats. They're called hats, by the way. You seem to not know what hats are, but I don't want to make any assumptions. I will get you hats if you help us wrangle these here beetles.
Did I not just do that with my chainsaw sword? I thought I'm very efficient.
That was pretty impressive chainsaw swording, giant lady. But I would appreciate if you were to perhaps butcher 1 or 2 of these things, because we got to feed some folks.
There we go,
What?
Vlad.
Wait, what? This does not
would
sit
understand.
right.
Yes.
And you
What?
specifically say you want us to strangle them? That's a little bit kind of weird for me, but all right.
What?
Mishearing the word wrangle.
Uh,
Yeah.
I don't recall that, but however you folks prepare food in the mess hall, I suppose.
Vlad's a
uh,
top-notch chef, so we got you covered there.
I do a little like I kind of do one of these, and as I do it, like little bursts of flame come out. I'm like, I am an excellent cook when it comes to barbecue.
Whew, that is a weight off my mind, because we are not cut out for this. Mostly, we were giving out citations for illegal parking of grab cars, and now we seem to be in charge of this place. So, if you could help feed.
So you are in
populace?
charge. You are in charge. The X-headed, the techno priests, I believe they call themselves. They seem to think they are in charge.
Whew. Well, that's a whole can of worms there. They would love to be in charge, I suppose, as well as we are maybe better suited but less inclined. But no, the techno bishops would have us all linked up to their cybernetic jibba jabba, and that would be a fate worse than death. I think we are here to keep law and order. What happens on their side and their cathedral, that's their business, as long as they're not violating any orders of the Empire. But no,
Wow.
I would say that it's between us or maybe Roz up at the city hall. She was the assistant comptroller, so maybe Roz is in charge technically, but we're more the boots on the ground, as it were. But until you folks showed up.
Wow. Thank you so much for all that information. So what I'm gathering is that the power is derived from the shininess of the hat, not the length of it. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, please describe
Yes.
Roz's bucket.
Roz is more of a bouffant than a bucket. I wouldn't let Roz hear you say that. I'm sure you folks can handle yourselves, but Roz, she's a tough cookie.
So once you say bouffant, in my head, I just hear hoorah, and I like, yeah, hoorah! And
Hoorah!
I take my sword chainsaw out again, and I just start running toward them, going, "It's time for a barbecue."
And he didn't say a specific number. Yeah. I'll go in with my scalpel behind you to just help.
Hey, Ryan,
Yes,
above table, so there's beetles and cattle, right?
one and the same.
They're the,
Oh, they're
yeah,
the same.
The-
Okay.
beetles are the cattle.
The space cattle are in fact these milk beetles who make bug butter.
Gotcha. But somebody told us before we were absolutely not supposed to kill them.
Yeah.
That was so the techno bishops consider them sacred and want to preserve them for lubrication. You guys didn't get too deep into that one. And the sheriff here and his deputies are trying to wrangle up a feast to feed the people here in the aftermath of your glorious liberation of Venice.
Got it. From what I can see, we only get in trouble if we harm creatures who have the buckets. So these cattle have no buckets. Yeah, I see nothing but green lights ahead.
So,
All right.
so as they're charging with their chainsword and their like halberd, I just ignite my jetpack and fly to the other side of this herd, and just like, not that Vlad understands what a sheepdog does, but like that's basically what I'm trying to do, is just like constantly like skitter back and forth, kind of hovering with my jetpack to contain this herd.
Yeah, I mean, you guys understand combat tactics exclusively, and this is combat. Like you
Yeah, I'm
do a
piping the
great
enemy.
job killing all of these milk beetles, which again are called space cattle because they're like the size of a bison. They are rather large, 8-legged, iridescent shelled beetles, who now are mostly prone. One or two managed to get away in the carnage, but yeah, sure. If you set your minds to it, you can kill anything pretty quickly. Rock and roll. Weapon of choice.
I'm gonna
I'm
be
us-
doing a little bit of both. I think I'm gonna be like toasty, like lighting some of them up with my flamethrower, and at the same time, just like wildly flinging my chainsaw sword around every now and then. It's almost like a symphony of slaughter. Just, yeah, I'm really here for it.
I'm like, you hear me like whispering to my side, and I'm just like, with my scalpel, my axe. I'm going around. I'm just like, well, maybe if we just cut off a little bit here, and like it just, I just imagine just slices through the whole thing. Oh, I'll try it on the next one over here, and maybe just to see if we can preserve the life of the patient, and just every single one, I'm just straight in half, like, yeah.
So in the midst of this carnage, there were in fact a couple of deputies trying also to wrangle one of these majestic beasts, and they're kind of caught in the crossfire here. So I am going to, I don't know who's going to roll it, but somebody is going to perhaps attempt to protect these civilians.
Oh,
in
I
the
am. This
midst
is what I'm
of
here for.
Yeah.
I am
Fantastic
divinely
artist.
ordained. I have a D20 in protecting
And
civilians.
you did
Same.
go on the other side and like, you know, try to wrangle or whatever. So.
I'll tell you what, there are in fact two of these folks. So I will allow two at bats here to each try to protect one of these deputies.
All right, you ready?
Yep.
Okay. Here
Ooh,
we
12.
go.
Oh,
Hey.
there it is. There it is.
Okay, mine was great though. I'm just saying.
Cool. Yeah, who had the rainbow dice?
That was me. I had the
that
bad
was Vlad. All right. So Hilda cuts in half the milk beetle that the one deputy is riding, taking a little chunk of their thigh with it, but realizing in the glory of battle that there is in fact a civilian here, and your priority is maybe to keep them alive rather than kill all of these poor innocent creatures, you manage to catch it in the arm that happens to have the flamethrower, which they're clearly not excited about. And it is at that moment where Vlad, leaping into action, realizing that there is in fact a civilian now in the center of this mass, you kick your jetpack into overdrive, flames spurting out, huge plumes of plasma erupting, and you initiate a stampede. Whereas this herd of milk beetles were moving chaotically in every direction and fairly easy to control, your jetpack, brighter than the sun for an instant, has forced them all to move in one direction, overwhelming the sheriff and that poor deputy that's in the middle, gone. And they are headed straight for what is left of town.
Hmm. I like to try to use my grapple cannon to grab one of them, one out of the stampede.
You do that. Easy.
It's okay. I got one. We can still eat. Everything is good.
And maybe the rest of them are just gonna go to the church of the people that think they're a deity or whatever's happening here. I'm not quite sure still. Is that hat still? And I'm like looking for the hat of the person that got stampeded. I'm like seeing if there's a hat on the ground, a shiny one.
Ooh, I gotta ask for rolls for that. I guess this is gather information. I don't have a better silo for that roll.
6.
Success. Pat.
Cool. And
Decisive.
I toss it over to Vlad, and it's just like in our laws. If you kill the hierarchy, you become it. So there you are. You're a deputy now.
Congratulations, Vlad.
So we
Alright,
have
so-
one very frightened deputy,
I'll
one
look at the
deputy who
patient
is
now,
who
sorry.
is mush.
I see after, you know, just grazing this other deputy that the herd is moving now, and again I know that my number one is I've got to protect the civilians, and when I see them going toward the town, I'm like, nope. So I'm gonna try to run out ahead of them and see if I can are there any like boulders or any large objects around that I could pick up and maybe throw into the front of the stampede to block its passage?
Yes.
Okay.
There's fencing and gates, and there is plenty of rubble everywhere. So you could take a piece of cement with a bunch of rebar in it and huck it if that is your desire, or you got some old timey corral timber fencing and gates.
Whatever's bigger, I want like a large, even if it's one of the beetles, I just want to throw it to the front of the line to try and change their path, make them veer in a new direction.
I will say a dead beetle is the closest thing at hand because
All right, let's go.
slaughtered many of them. Now, my question to you:
Yeah.
are you lifting a heavy object, or are you protecting civilians right now?
That's a great question. I mean, the goal is to protect civilians.
Okay, and I'll go by the intent, not the
Okay.
methodology.
Okay. I mean, I could do both. I could absolutely fail to lift this thing. All right, let's do.
No, you can't fail to lift it. It's just what else happens.
Okay. Well.
11. Oh, right. You huck a beetle into what you have not yet learned was the governor's mansion. That palatial estate between the market square and you and the stampede of beetles. And you clip the corner of it just right so that the building collapses, creating a pretty effective barrier between the stampede and the civilians that were in the market square and not in the governor's mansion at that point.
Nailed it.
Well done, Hilda.
Very
Thank
well
you.
done.
Yes.
Good work.
I think I'm in love. As I just see this soaring beetle. And during that time, yeah, I'm also like, I take out this, it looks like it's like a Fisher Price toy, but a little medical bag. And I'm placing it next to this smushed deputy, checking the vitals of the patient. Those beetles are dangerous, by the way. It's good that we took care of them. And look at what they did. This is insane. And I'm just like taking medical tools and doing the little heartbeat monitor and just like on this, just this mush, just for flavor. It doesn't need to lead to anything. I was just, yeah.
Well, there are two deputies. One is alive and one is very much not. So
is the live one injured? I was thinking that there was
Yes.
just one. Okay, I'll do the smushed one first. I was like, this one's in dire need at the moment, just to check real fast, and then after that, I'll try to help out the injured one too.
Okay. This is being nice.
Being nice.
Bum, 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 bum.
D8. I'm a nice guy.
You're a nice guy. Success with minor collateral damage. So you do, in fact, have some medical knowledge, whether it came from your absorbing another person in a freak accident, or just common sense or field experience. But there's a wound on his leg, and you suture it shut. And it's successful. You have sealed the wound as if it were a Space Marines and not a civilian's. So sans anesthetic, and this dude is just screaming to high heaven and passes out.
Yeah.
And actually, he's no longer in Hilda's arms because Hilda.
And I like to imagine that like as a bandage replacement, I sew a little bit of the rest of that vest or whatever as like a topper of it, and like it's entirely closed. You're not gonna bleed out. You're gonna live. Hello. So well taken care of. He went right to sleep like a baby. Perfect. And then I'll just kind of move along and just follow the rest of my squad.
Does the dead one have a bucket hat?
He did. That was claimed.
I tossed the one shiny hat to Vlad.
Yeah, there's one that's
Yeah.
perfectly fine on the now passed out deputy. So there are
Okay.
two hats in play.
I will go up to the one who's passed out, and Robodog is going to start growling at him, and I'll say, "Citizen, I require your bucket for operational necessity." And then I'll just lean down and take it.
He offers no resistance and complies with your demand.
I take the bucket, and then I want to use my grapple cannon to pull the one beetle that I previously removed from the herd over to me so I can get on top of it and ride it around and swing the buckets. I've been with these cowboys for, a few minutes now. I feel like I've got it. So I'm going to try to impress the citizens by riding this beetle around like a bucking bronco and maybe hopefully get the attention of the other beetles.
All right.
How
So
much do we weigh again?
I was gonna say, what's the size difference here?
a lot. So the beetles are quite large. But you guys are you are giants among people, and you are also in big cybernetic suits, which in my imagination always did include some sort of helmet visor sort of situation. So that I see these hats on top of your buckets. I see buckets on buckets now. But you tell me, I'm not here to play your characters. So you are attempting to impress the civilians that survived that natural 20.
Okay.
There are a lot fewer people in the market square, and there's no one looking out the windows of the governor's mansion now.
Okay. My impress civilians is a D20. Let's see.
Oh,
That's a 6.
success. All right, you have managed to ingratiate yourself with the population by the ancient art of beetle wrangling. So you ride into the center of the market square, what's left of it, atop a beetle, and it is glorious. And everyone is just taken aback. There's gasping. There is scattered applause. There's a couple whoops. Some non-shiny buckets get thrown up in the air, one or two at you. The techno bishops don't seem super impressed, but the rest of the civilian population's paying attention to you and liking what they're seeing.
I have bucket too. I am like you. Oh crap! I cut it in half. Bucket falls on the. I sliced it in half.
Sliced. There's several buckets they're a lot less shiny than the deputies had, but
I believe that the term is yee-haw. Yee-haw. I just start saying that
Hoorah.
over and over again, looking at all the civilians, like trying to lead them in a chant.
On one of your rounds as you go by, I just salute you with our Fighty Titans salute.
All right, Vladimir. It's not quite a parade because it's stationary, but the closest thing to starting an organized chant, I'm going to say, is holding a parade. And it might seem inconsequential, but there's a lot riding on this. What do you got for holding parades?
I am cautious. I have a D6.
Okay, that suits the narrative. You're trying to get people to say a word that you are not exactly confident is the right word here.
All right, here we go.
Success. There is a dust-covered woman with kind of frizzy, bedraggled hair now, who has recently crawled out of the rubble that was once the governor's mansion, turns to someone and says, "This guy gets it. Yee-haw! Yee-haw! Yee-haw!"
Oh.
Yeehaw!
And you have successfully got everybody chanting yeehaw as Pavel Nightfingers shreds his hat and runs around with his lasso grappling cannon on top of a milk beetle.
I'm on top of the world. This is the best day I've ever had. Going around and around in the circle.
Hearts and minds, baby. I mean, if this feels maybe like a fade to black moment, but you have some pretty upset techno bishops looking at you and the mass carnage of the beetles, and the woman with the hair in the midst of the yeehaw chant comes up to you and says, "Thanks, we really needed that."
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. I understand that these beetles now need to be prepared for food. Yes, we cook them.
Old-fashioned barbecue.
I'm holding just like a
Yeehaw.
bloody sack, going over to Hilda, looking at the techno bishops, just like, we should probably. They look kind of strange. They might be peckish. We should probably feed them first. Here you go, Hilda. As I'm handing you this huge sack.
Oh, honey, we don't eat that part.
Oh, okay. What's the part that you eat then?
The meat parts. I mean, in certain circles, that's a delicacy.
Oh, okay. Oh no, sorry. I meant like a burlap sack, not.
Oh, I thought,
Yeah, we had a miscommunication. No, just like it's full of the stuff that I collected, and I'm
I
just
see.
handing. Yeah.
So I'm gonna
Um,
be in the background, just like ripping rebar. I don't do crowds. I don't like them. They feel like a security risk. So while everyone else is yeehawing, I'm like kind of just pulling rebar out of the cement, like you said, taking some of the pieces of fence and making like a little makeshift, like the thing you spin a pig on, like a pig roast,
like a
Yes,
spit.
like
a spit. That's the
Yeah.
word. I kept wanting to say spigot, and that's wrong. Okay, spit. And I'm getting it ready, like making an oversized spit so we can start putting the beetles on these and make like a row of them, so
Yeah.
I can just light them up. And the closer they are to my hand, the more well done they'll be. The further they are, the more rare they'll be. So I have a strategy for this. Yeah, it's gonna be great. So that's where I'm at, and I'd like to try to impress the civilians with my cooking bravado.
Ooh, I was gonna say building and repairing, but I will allow you to impress
Thank you.
with your culinary powers.
There's one thing I love almost as much as explosions, and it's food. All right.
Combining your two passions.
Yes.
For a 10, success. There is minor collateral damage because what you don't realize is that milk beetle is not the sort of meat that you serve medium rare. You had no way of knowing that, but there are some space parasites contracted in this feast. But you are feeding the populace, who are now 100% on board with these space marines, who have seemingly replaced the not exactly well-loved meter people who had been giving out tickets until all of the the traffic cops who replaced the entire government because they died in the conflict. So yeah, you have Vanis in hand.
Nice.
Feels
Is the guy with the mustache, is he still alive?
Oh no, he died when you rolled a natural 20.
Okay.
Yeah, the sheriff was part of the destruction there.
All right, so I'm like, in all the charring of everything and the cooking of meat, I'm just gonna like put my big metallic, gauntlet finger into some charcoal, and I'm just gonna draw a big curly mustache on my Space Marine helmet to signify that I'm now in charge.
Awesome. And you're wearing one of the hats? Who's
I
wearing
got
the
one of the
sheriff?
hats, and now I've got the big
Perfect.
mustache drawn on my helmet.
Power
Perfect.
to the people. Seize the means of production. Yes.
I am not wearing a hat, but when I do, I've been traveling without my my helmet, and when I do start up the fire for real, it kind of just like comes out of the back and rotates on, and it looks like a glorified football helmet. Like it's
Nice.
100%. Yeah, it's got little vents, and yeah, that's my protection.
I'll look at this lady that we had a miscommunication with the parts of the animal, and I say, since they're butter beetles, are they pre-seasoned and buttered inside, or do we need to get some extra stuff from like a local market or anything like that, just to make sure it's the best it can be for these people around here?
Well, there was a spice shop, but you threw your ship on it. So I
It
think
does that sometimes, yeah.
So the spices are loose now, right?
sure. Yeah, if you could find some salt, I like salt. Little space pepper.
Vlad, you're usually the sous chef. Do you make some sauce for the boss? Actually, you're the boss now,
Of course,
deputy.
Of course, yes.
He's the sheriff now.
You see the mustache? Yes, this is me. What does that mean?
Yeah, I'll go over
Drew it
to
so
the
fast.
remains of the stall and start trying to gather up whatever spices and herbs I can find that's that hasn't been completely destroyed.
There are indeed some. You are not sure what they are, but you do find several vials of. There's some red stuff. There's some green flaky things, and what looks like white rocks.
No cilantro, please. It tastes like soap.
I'm pretty sure it's outlawed in this part of space, as it should be in the
Good.
universe.
Excellent. Yes.
I don't allow cilantro on barbecue.
No cilantro. Hoo-ah.
Hoorah!
Hoorah! So, yeah. So I'll just go and I'll just kind of categorize the meat by spice. So some of it gets a whole lot of the red, and some of it gets a whole lot of the green. Some of it gets a whole lot of the white, and then then I'll do a batch where there's a little bit of everything, just kind of.
I like the
approach
everything.
it mathematically, systematically.
Perfect.
All right. I'm afraid to make you guys touch any more dice because you haven't killed everyone, but you killed a lot of people. You've brought peace and unity to Venice. You have upset the super-linked Techno-Bishop Hive, but they're always kind of upset and inscrutable, so no huge loss there. In a couple days, the Imperium's envoy, the people who should have been doing this the entire time and perhaps would have done it with a lot less bloodshed, arrive and are quite impressed.
Yay.
We succeeded.
Boris loves you.
Mostly succeeded, and the efficient kind of a part and coming down the stairs with the tallest hat you have seen yet is Boris.
Boris.
So powerful.
He scans with steely eyes all of the death and destruction and the smiling, well-fed citizens. When he walks up to you, he goes, "Good job, Marines. I did not expect any survivors."
Oh, we have plenty of survivors, fat and happy survivors.
I see you've fattened them up.
Is we are teaching them how to make shawarma. It's going very, very well, actually.
We did our sacred duty and we protected them with no loss of lives that mattered.
As I look over to the ship. Yep, exactly.
I have no way of knowing if that is true or not, so I will assume it is.
We do have some suspicion about these techno bishops. They appear to have a counter agenda to the rest of the populace, and their bucket hats, we still suspect may have weapons underneath them.
We've not been able to check every single one. There's been some resistance.
Agent Orange is pretty sure there's something sneaky there.
It does make sense that there's either a weapon or some sort of maybe their heads are as big as their hat. So it's based on power. That the size of the hat is power. There might be some sort of psionic abilities as well, because the ship, it should not be like that. I tried to lift it up. I've lifted many times and it just flew away. I believe that they might have used their own psionic abilities to try to destroy the village in order to make us look bad.
I've seen those before. Those were the Schmoan heads. They could be infiltrating the population.
That sounds likely to me. And I'm a doctor.
We suspect some of these Schmon heads might have cilantro under their buckets as well, which is illegal in this part of the galaxy.
It all just makes so much sense, really.
It fits together like a puzzle.
It is all connected. Yes, psionic sabotage, you say.
Via
Marines.
cilantro.
Via cilantro.
Yes.
The techno bishops are sanctioned, but we cannot have saboteurs in our midst. Marines, attack! And he points at the cathedral.
I'm on it.
I look at
I'm
Hilda.
First
I look-
out.
As I'm running with Hilda with my sonic axe, I'm also just like, that makes sense too. They probably didn't eat the milk beetles because they didn't have cilantro. These sons of bitches. And I'm just charging in.
I look at it. I look at you like nothing has ever made more sense in my entire life.
It's all connected.
Connect this, and I'm just gonna take like one of the sacks that has the butter in it that they are not using, that's supposedly flammable, and throw it into a crowd of them and light them on fire.
Parts of them are super flammable. Other parts of them just kind of start melting.
Cool. I'm just gonna keep going.
Cilantro.
It smells like soap.
And as you destroy the other locus of spiritual practice here in Venice, we fade to black as Bishop Circuitous's face melts into a molten puddle of his metallic cybernetic components. His arm uplifted, just barely saving his big hat from destruction.
I'm gonna pluck it up and I'm gonna give it to Pavel and be like, the biggest hat.
I will present it to Boris. We won hearts and minds. We have done everything we set out to do. Did we do good, brother?
You did. You are Space Marines, and you have done the Imperium proud.
Hoorah!
Hoorah.
Hoorah.
Hoorah! And as I yell hoorah, I'd like to imagine that all of the destruction I did near the cathedral just causes it to crumple in on itself as we yell that last little vibration.
Yeah, we all just kind of like stomp our foot or whatever.
Yes. Yes. I'm picturing like the Disney castle for some reason just coming down behind us in the background.
It is glorious. And Boris insists that you get the hell off of this planet while there's still some left.
I'm taking my beetle, though. My
Yes.
beetle mount is coming with us.
Perfect. You have a beetle and a cybernetic dog.
You're just
Any other parting shots in Venice before we get back onto Boris's dropship, since yours is upside down still?
Ooh.
mean,
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, yeah, if there's any hats, I'm searching through them, trying to get some for me and my hip, and just seeing the secrets that lie underneath, and realizing that it's not exactly what we thought it was, but I'm still convinced that there's something there. Maybe it's on a different dimension of existence. We have to study this, and I'm just like collecting what I can, trying to piece together this puzzle.
Invisible, cybernetic, psionic, cilantro.
Yep. it all makes sense, really.
It all makes sense. It's all
Right
connected.
before we leave, my last act will be to pass out the remainder of my balloons in my pack to the small children nearby, but I end up cutting through most of them, just as I'm handing them out. They get just sliced balloons.
The
Please,
balloon-
The
use
balloons
my
are the-
tech.
I was gonna
balloons
say
are the
balloons.
children.
Yeah. I'm hoping the balloons.
There are so many around, and the ship is gearing up to leave. I have to hurry and making sure, here I have like 1,000 balloons left. Here. Use the techniques I've taught you over the last several days. You now become master. It's time to pass on torch.
I think
Okay.
as we've been there those last few days, I'll take a hat and modify it with a little bit of flesh from one of the beetles and possibly the head of one, and shove it inside and turn it into a foosball and teach them the mighty art of foosball in honor of my fallen brethren, because this was their favorite pastime. And yeah, it'll be glorious.
What's Vlad up to in our closing shots?
So Vlad's still just like eating as much as he can of these beetles and just serving and making sure that everyone knows. Now this is the one that is 40% white, 10% green, and 30% red. This is the one that is 50% white, 20% red, 30% green.
Beautiful.
I love this story. It had everything. A little peek behind the curtain. In preparing this, I was like, we're either going to have a very long introductory session 0 thing, or we're going to make sure there's no children because everyone's going to die. But I'm glad the kids came in at the end there to get. I was going to make you guys roll on that, but the kids are in the room now, so those things happen.
They're too short to get hit by the knife fingers.
Exactly.
Well, duck, quick.
Oh no, you got Edward Scissorhand.
The little ones are so agile; they'll be fine.
Mm-hmm. Between your fingers and my foosball training, they'll survive everything.
Foosball
And
is
they're
good.
hardy
Helps me
meals
get my
of
steps in.
Space beetle.
Vanis has forever been changed, mostly because most of it is destroyed, including the vast majority of their main herd of space cattle, but also because they have learned so much in so short a time from the Space Marines. And when you really reduce a population and then inject some cultural knowledge, it really makes sure that everybody who comes after knows it, because they all have common ancestry, because there's so, and I can't stress this enough, so few survivors.
But there are survivors.
There are survivors.
I also have to ask, since we smashed the statue of their deity and rebuilt it in the way that we saw fit, and then their bishops are gone now, is that like just basically going to be their new, their deity looks like that now, like passed on to the next generations from there? Or
Well, no one was really all that successful. It was mostly failure.
Yeah.
So what you created was in fact an abomination.
that's what I'm
But
saying. But
they melt it down
Okay.
and fashion it over time. This is not the next day, but if you were to return to Vanis in a year or two, in the center of this market square, there is a golden statue of a Space Marine.
Nice.
Excellent.
With the shiniest hat and a mustache.
It's wearing 3 hats, and it's almost a rite of passage for the youth to deface it / reface it by drawing a mustache on the golden
it's so
statue.
good.
Beautiful.
All right, I want to thank you all for being here and dealing with my drama before we got started, and being awesome in general. I had a really good time. Usually, it's the game master's job to make sure the players are having a good time. I didn't have to do that today because I just had fun instead. So thank you for that. Thank you everybody for sticking with us and watching this to the end. Like and subscribe wherever you're seeing this, and stay tuned for the next one, because the one-page one-shot club is glorious and is coming to a screen near you very soon. Thanks everybody.
Hoorah.
Hoorah.
Hoorah!
Hoorah!